Hello and welcome to the Anxious Knitter podcast. My name is Joy, and I'm the Anxious Knitter. I'm so anxious that I don't have a fear of missing out. I have the exact opposite. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to talk to people. I want to miss out most of the time. I'm basically a wannabe hermit. Anyway, you're here for episode 21. Like I said, my name is Joy, and I'm coming to you from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, where I live with my husband Luke and our dog Obi. This is a podcast mostly about knitting, but occasionally about crochet, sewing, spinning, dyeing, and whatever other crafty thing catches my fancy at the moment. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. It means so much to me that you want to spend a little part of your day with me. And if you're brand new, just stumbling on my little corner of the internet for the first time, welcome. And I hope you find something that you like or that you find interesting. True story, I just had to wait to start my video because there's a guy who lives in my building who also has a YouTube channel, and he was outside recording his wrap up, and my mic was picking it up. So that's funny. Rahama Nation, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. It's a positivity channel if you want to check it out. Sorry, I'm getting like a bajillion messages. So I hope everyone is doing well today. I'm doing good. I'm doing really good, actually. I was struggling a bit to find an I'm so anxious intro because I've not been feeling too anxious lately. I'm feeling really good. I really do feel like the majority of my anxiety comes from like external stressors. So the main one is gone now. So I'm feeling really good. I'm having sort of a resurgence, but I hope you guys are doing well. I have lots to talk about today. Not a ton of knitting, but that's because I've been pretty busy, actually. I know my intro just said that I don't like to go out, which is true, but I have done a lot of stuff the past 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks because I was super lazy. Oh, okay. No, that's not fair to me. That's me being self-deprecating. I wasn't being lazy. I recorded last week's episode and then basically immediately had to go, and then I had a really busy weekend, so I actually didn't get to edit it until the following week. So if it was a little bit weird, because I was clearly talking about things that had already happened, I apologize, but I wanted to get that episode out to you anyway. It is way too hot to wear a shawl. I had to turn my air conditioner off because it's loud. But this is my girl from the grocery store by Hohi Locatelli, and now I have to take it off because it's too hot. I just thought it would look nice on camera, and it did, but I'm gonna sweat to death, and I don't like being sweaty. Yeah, so I have a few knitting things to talk about. I have some spinning stuff. I have some announcements. I have the pattern giveaway winner to announce. I talk about cows, and I'm talking about yarn dyeing and mine and Luke's shop, Cabinet of Curios, hand-dyed yarns and accessories, which I'm really excited to talk to you about. I've been like gearing up for it, so I hope you don't mind that I'm probably going to talk forever, but I did pick and choose which knitting projects to talk about today, because I've been working on a number of things, but, sorry, I just sniffed, but I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't talking for like 3 hours, because I also have somewhere to go today in a couple hours, so there you go. I'm actually being like social. It's weird. Is it raining outside? Anyway, let's get into the content, shall we? Let's start with the DWEEB story. I have one. I didn't think I was gonna have one, and then last night, also, I'm really sorry if I do weird things with my eyes. My right eye has been twitching, like, constantly. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if it's that, like, because, like, I've released all my stress, it's, like, coming out in, like, my eyes, so, like, I keep catching myself. Like, I'll, like, doing stuff or talking, and then I go like this. And, I'm sorry. It was really distracting. Yeah, so let's jump right in. I didn't think I was gonna have one, but I do have one. It happened last night at, like, 10 o'clock, so let's get it going, okay? With our DWEEB story of the week. Okay. Okay. So I started dyeing yarn, as some of you will have probably seen on Instagram, and I've been playing around with some natural dyes as well. So last night, Luke and I went for a walk so I could harvest some Queen Anne's lace from the trails behind our apartment building. And so I had a plastic bag, I put a bunch of them in there, and then I came home and I was getting my dye stock ready so I could dye skein today. And I dump it all in, and then I notice that there are bugs in the dye pot, like stuck. They're like on floating on the top, like on one of the flowers. One of them flies away, and Luke ended up catching it. But anyway, so there was still one in the pot, and I was like, oh, look, get the bugs, because I can't do the bugs. I can't do it. I hate bugs, with the exception of beetles. But, well, pretty beetles. And I don't want to touch them. I just want to look at them. I digress. So, Luke comes in, and he gets his, like, paper towels, whatever, to catch them. And he's like, there's 2 bugs in here, actually. I was like, oh my gosh, and there's 3 bugs, because one of them, he's like, Joy, these bugs are doing it. Yeah, so I had apparently harvested a flower that I just like, I didn't interrupt them apparently, they just kept at it, but I found a flower. Of all the flowers, I found the one with 2 beetles, like, in the throes of passion. So, the moral of the story is, guys, if you're harvesting plants, make sure you don't have any bugs in them before you bring them home and dump them into your pot. So, that was my true story. I just thought it was funny, evidently. Now my nose is running. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. Yeah, I'm back. So, yeah. Awkward. So that's my dweeb story, real quick. And yeah, so before I forget, let's do the announcement segment, because there are a few things I want to talk about there. So get ready for Hear Ye, Hear Ye. Okay. So, couple things. Cows. Lots of cows. Cows forever. Cows for days. We have 3 alongs happening in the Ravelry group right now, which, of course, you can find the link down below. So first of all, we have the Spin for All 2017, which I'm co-hosting with Katie of the Arrownuts podcast and Taylor of Wool Needles Hands. And I'll talk about my spinning later, but that goes until August 1st, so you still have a few weeks if you want to join in, or if you're working on your fiber. And there's been some awesome posts of people posting their finished objects and their whips in the chatter thread. So keep those coming. I love seeing them. It's so exciting to see how everybody's yarn is working out. And I will be putting up the finished objects thread in the next week or so. Yeah, so just remember, really the only rules are drop spindles and make sure you ply what you spin if you want to be eligible for a prize. There's also, I'm so dumb. So I started the chatter threads for the brioche along, the Keep Calm and brioche along, and the West Knits along, and then realized that the entirety of the brioche along is a chatter thread, so technically you guys get an extra week, because I started it early. Guys, it does not matter how many times I blot my dang lipstick. It is always on the teeth. Anyway, yes, so go post in those threads if you are partaking in either of the cows. You can double dip with the same project if your West Knits pattern is brioche. go for it. And yeah, so just a reminder that the Keep Calm and Brioche along is 1 month long, so it'll go till August 15th. No finished objects required. I'm just going to pull from the chatter thread, so every time you participate in the chatter thread, that's an entry for you. And then the West Ends along is 2 months long, and I mean, 2 months is a soft amount. Like if we get into September and people are clearly still working and there's not a lot of finished objects, I will extend the deadline. So like, don't worry about it. We're gonna make it work. Okay, I want everybody to be able to participate and put in their finished objects as much as possible. Yeah, so those are up. And there was a giveaway, sort of an impromptu giveaway for a pattern, the Canterlot, I think they're just called Canterlot. They're fingerless gloves by Shelby Hamden of the Defiant Knitter podcast. So I just threw up a thread in there. It was open for a week, and the prompt was to give me a joke, which is something that I'm going to use again because I think it's hilarious. And so I did pick a winner. There were 6 entries for that one, and yeah, so without further ado, the winner of the Canterlot fingerless gloves pattern is entry number 7, who is M. Hoekstra, Maria. Congratulations, Maria. Ironically, I know someone with that last name. Well, I know of someone with that last name. They're married to someone that I know. Not the point. The point is, Maria's joke was, straight from the mouth of my father-in-law, what do you call a woman who married a hippie? Mississippi. Boom. There was a really good knitting one in here. Hold on. Oh, Opie. Okay. It's Joe Runs with Dogs' joke. I just had to share it because it made me laugh out loud. A highway... Opie, you're ruining the punchline. The opening line. A highway patrolman pulled alongside a speeding car on the freeway. Glancing at the car, he was astounded to see that the blonde behind the wheel was knitting. Realizing that she was oblivious to his flashing lights and siren, the trooper cranked down his window, turned on his bullhorn, and yelled, "Pull over!" "No!" the blonde yelled back. "It's a scarf!" I told that one to Luke and he didn't get it because he doesn't think of sweaters as pullovers. But I thought it was funny. So anyway, Maria M. Hoekstra, I will put Shelby in contact with you so you can get your copy of your pattern and hopefully jump in on the cow if you like. I think that was all for announcements. Nice. Okay. Let's get into the yarny portion of the podcast, which I'm so excited about. Yeah, so let's start with finished objects. Okay. Are you ready? Okay, I don't have any knitting finished objects, but I have a lot of yarny finished objects, and I also have 2 of Luke's finished objects. So Luke started sewing up the bags for the shop, and I think they look great. I think we're probably aiming for September, the beginning of September. We'll see. It depends how quickly we get everything done. But July is shaping up to be very, very busy, so it's been hard to kind of get everything together. Because I think we had originally wanted to open up Cabinet of Curios in August, but I think that's unrealistic at this point. September is fine though, and summer is going really quick. So just got lipstick on my finger. Let me wipe that away so I don't contaminate the objects. Anyway, so I'm going to show you the 2 bags that Luke has made. So this is the first one, which is full of like bugs and old newspaper print, and it's this cool parchmenty color. Got your little tab, and then I love this burgundy zipper, and then a plaid, like a tartan, and actually some sparkly in there. lining. It has a box bottom. It is, I think, the perfect small project bag, like for a pair of socks or a hat or gloves or a small like single skein shawl. I love it. There it is. First bag. And this one's my favorite. This is the second bag, which has this fun kind of Victoriana pattern is the word, with this sort of chartreusey yellow and this sort of creamy flower print inside. So that's what he's gotten done so far. We're aiming to have about 12 to 15 bags for the shop opening. But he's very excited. He was trying out some new techniques. He designed his own pattern for this one. So yeah, we love these. And they will all come with a little charm zipper pull as well. But that's a surprise for when you buy them. So those are the bags we have done currently. Now let's talk yarn. So I've been dyeing up a storm. Like, and when I say dyeing up a storm, I mean I'm dyeing constantly, like all morning. I will say right now though that the intention of this shop is not necessarily to be what's the word? Like, I don't want to say mass producing. That's not what it is. Like, the likelihood of me ever dyeing 100 skeins in a week is almost zero. I don't want it to take over my life, but I do want to make sure that there's, you know, stuff in the shop for everybody that wants it. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you don't, when the shop opens, that you don't think that there's going to be like 200 skeins of yarn. There's not. It's small batch. I am working on my stove. I have 2.5 pots that I can use at a time. So it's unrealistic for me to be doing that much yarn. But anyway, that's all a lot of nonsense. So I started with a skein of sock yarn that I broke up into mini skeins of about 20 grams. The skeins are 115 grams, just so you know. They've got a little bit of extra. So I got 6 minis out of one skein. And here they are. Some of you may have seen on Instagram. I was actually really surprised by how well they turned out, in all fairness. This was the one that I liked the least. It didn't turn out at all what I wanted it to be, but I still like how it turned out. In the end, once I skeined it up, I liked it. I wanted it to be more brown, but I must have not put in enough like powder of the dye, so the brown basically just disappeared completely. Like, you can see it a little tiny bit in here, but really not much. I did an actual brown one with yellow, which I kind of liked. I did this one, which was funny because I was going outside to my balcony to hang up whatever one I had done before that, and one of the little girls in my building was downstairs getting her papers ready for her paper route, and she was wearing this really cute outfit, and so I came back inside and I dyed a little mini skein based on her outfit, and I love it. I think it's really cute. Then I did this one, which was a test for a colorway, which you'll see, and I was really happy with how this turned out. And then to exhaust what was left in the pot, I ended up doing this one, which I also really like. So that was cool. And then when Luke got home, I asked if he wanted to do a mini skein, and he said sure, and he did this one, which is black and red. I think he intended for it to be more black than red, but like the red just took over everything. But I kind of thought it would be fun if Luke dyed a couple of skeins, like one-of-a-kind skeins, and they were called like Exhibit L skeins or something, just for fun to put in the shop. So yeah, I did those. And then I started dyeing full skeins. So the first one I did was a full skein of, oh, this is turning really blue. It's really more green than blue. Why is the color so messed up? Can I get the color right? Hold on, is it showing up? It's showing up really blue. Sorry, it is not. It is super green, like green blue. But this is based on jewel beetles. I'm not going to release the names yet of the official names of the colorways because I just want them to be a fun surprise. But this one is based on jewel beetles. And then I did, so that was on singles. And this is on sock. And what you can't see because my camera is the worst, but don't worry, I have an Instagram account that I will talk about after, where I will be posting pictures of these and you'll be able to see what the colors actually look like. That there's these little pops of chartreuse in there that like really glow, and that was like really exciting to me because that's really what I wanted. These have been reskeined, so you can kind of see how they are gonna knit up. So those will be in the shop. Then I dyed this one, which is on the BFL silk base I talked about last time. So it's 80% BFL, 20% silk. And this was actually, and I love this one. I almost decided to keep this one for myself. This one's showing up pretty good. It's washing out a little bit. But I had dyed this with sort of like splotches and I hated it. It was ugly. So I was like, well, I'm going to over dye it. So I over dyed it a rich like orangey brown. And this is based on those like amber apothecary jars. So you can see. And again, reskeined. Pretty much almost everything. I'll tell you when they're not, but otherwise you can assume that they're reskeined. Yeah, so I was really pleased with that one. Luke really liked that one. I'm trying to, hold on. Then I did, this was an experience. So I did this one, which is like a minty green with brown speckles, which is based on like old patinaed coins. Luke's grandmother has a coin collection that she gave him, and so this is based on one of those coins. And I was really happy with how this turned out. Unfortunately, the skein got totally tangled, so I spent literally 7 hours untangling this skein of yarn, and then it broke. Like, no, it didn't broke. It didn't break. I had to cut it because it was so tangled. So this one will be staying with me, but I am gonna try to recreate this. But I like, you can see like the chestnut brown like breaks, and you get some of that orangey, rusty color. And then I have 3 of these, which all turned out kind of different, but I mean, what you gonna do? So I did one based on dried lavender. So I did 3 of these. This one is on sock, on the 80/20 sock. This one obviously reskeined. Yeah, these ones are turning out. I think it's just the brightness of that turquoise green. But yeah, pretty pleased with that. And then I did it on singles. Now I'm not sure if I put too much dye in the pot or if it's just the singles took the dye differently, but this one did turn out a little bit brighter, but I might sell this as a one-of-a-kind or possibly just as, because I don't know that there will be another one in singles anyway. And then I did another one on the BFL. No, this is also sock. Yeah, this is also sock. And this one hasn't been reskeined, so you can see you've got that tonal lavendery purple, you got some dark green, and then you've got some gray and purple speckles, and yeah. So those are in the shop, will be in the shop. This one was a mistake I don't know, I was trying to do something gray, and instead I got this. It's beautiful. I love it. It's like a sort of a turquoisey dark green with some dark speckles in there. It's very tonal. So this is one of I might try to recreate this, but it probably won't be exactly the same. But yeah, so there's that one. Then there was this one, which there's currently only one of, which is based on one of the very first typewriters, the Scholes and Glidden typewriter, which is the Remington No. 1. And if you look it up on Pinterest, you'll see it's like black, brown, green. So this is all like speckled and a little bit of variegation in black, brown, and shades of green. I really like this one. I'm going to try and recreate that one soon. This one was an unexpected favorite of mine. So I usually don't gravitate towards yarns that have like a lot of white space. I like really deep saturated colors, but I also really like white and blue pottery. So this one is based on those like antique ginger jars that are blue and white, and I am obsessed with this colorway. I want to knit Melody Hoffman's kimono in like worsted in this colorway. Oh, it's really blowing out. Okay, here you go. So this is it on sock, and like guys, this sock base is so squishy. I love it. It just makes the plumpest little skein. So you can see it's got shades of blue speckles, shades of gray in there as well. And I can attest, because when I reskein these, I have to cake them up, that when it is caked, it literally looks like a little ginger jar. Like, it looks like pottery. It's so cool. Here it is on singles. And this is reskeined. This one I'm keeping because I was an idiot when I was not being careful when I was skeining it up, and I broke it. So it has a knot in it. So I will be keeping this one. But I did dye it again, and this is it unreskeined, not reskeined. So I will be reskeining that. But yeah, so here it is on singles. So those will go in the shop. This is potentially, oh, actually no, I'm gonna talk about this one. So here's this little skein of a coppery one, which is another one. So I dyed this gold, and it ended up looking like Shanghai noodles. I think that's what they're called. Or Singapore noodles, or they look like noodles. It was not an attractive color. I didn't like it at all. And then I tangled the skein. So I worked on untangling as much as I could, and then I over-dyed it. And obviously I'm keeping this for myself because it's full of knots, and it's like 50 grams. But yeah, so that was cute. But I really like the colors, so I will be obviously recreating that. This is currently a one-off color. Let me know if you guys like this, if this is something you would be interested in. Otherwise, I will just have it as a one-of-a-kind. But this is based on, actually, I'll tell you this one because I like it. It's called Dr. G. Ode's Magnificent Mineral Exhibit. So it's based on, like, you know, when you walk through a mineral exhibit. And it's got purple, black, blue, turquoise, chartreuse, emerald green. It's got lots of colors in there, and it's all speckled, so that one was fun. This is also currently a one-of-a-kind that didn't turn out how I expected it to, but I really like it, so I am going to try to recreate it. I did write down the recipe, so hopefully I can. But it's this nice burgundy variegated. I don't think I didn't do any speckling on this one. So this is all variegated. So you can see it's got some purples, some red, some orange, some brown. And I pulled this out of the pot. I was like, oh, my mom's gonna like this one. This is her colors. Yeah, and then I did 2 skeins of one that's based on skeleton keys. And so I did the first one was on singles. Ugh, I keep going over to the side. On singles, it's a really pale silvery gray with brown and rusty and silver speckles, really lightly speckled. This is a subtle colorway. And then I did another one, which I think maybe the speckling came out a little heavier, but I also didn't reskein this one because I really loved just how the speckles looked. So here you can see that. I love this one. I want to skein this one for myself too. I want to skein all of them for myself, but yes, so there's that. And then I started doing some natural dyeing. So I've, for the last couple months, been having everybody I know collect avocado pits and stuff for me. So I started dyeing. So the first one I did was this one. The thing is that I knew I wanted a pink. I was looking at all of the yarns that I'd done, and there was a real gap with pink. There was no pink. So I knew I wanted one, but I hadn't ordered a dye because all the dyes, like, they're pink. Like, they're pink. They're not a natural pink. And I wanted more of an antiqued kind of look. So the avocados were just the thing. This is a skein I'm keeping for myself because I think I felted it a little bit and then it broke when I was winding it. So again, I'm keeping that one for myself. But that's okay because this is honestly not even the prettiest one that I did. But this was the first one. I did this as a solid. And it really did take the dye very evenly. And I didn't mordant this one because, well, it's like I keep getting conflicting information from the internet. Like, some people say you don't need to use a mordant because the pits have tannins in them which act as a mordant. And then other people are like, no, you want to use a mordant. So with this one I didn't. With all the other ones I did because I just wanted to be safe. So if it fades, this one's on me. But yeah, so it's a really lovely dusty pink. And then these ones. So I have 3 more of them. Oh my gosh, I'm literally obsessed with them. I want all of them. This one I did with what was left over in the pot. And as you can see, I got some variegation in there. So it's beautiful and tonal and like so delicate looking. This is on the sock. And then I did another pot and I dropped 2 in at the same time, one on singles and one on BFL silk. So here they are. I literally, like, I could just dye with avocado for the rest of my life and probably be happy. I just think these are stunning. And I'm just so pleased. And, like, you can really see on this yarn how, like, the luster of the BFL silk, it's so shiny. I wouldn't say it's, like, it's not rustic by any means. But it's not got the silky cloudiness of, like, a single. But I love it. I really want a shawl knit with this. But yeah, you can see. I just think that's going to knit up so beautifully. Yeah, and right now I have my Queen Anne's lace soaking just in a bath before I hang it to dry. So all of that to show you next week, as well as probably a couple others. But yeah, so these 3 will be in the shop for sure. And yeah, I've been having so much fun. If you guys want to, like, to dye things, like to dye yarn, go for it, I say, because it's just like, well, one, you feel like a mad scientist with your, like, mask and stuff on. But, like, it's just really cool to see how your colors show up, and even if they don't turn out the way you wanted them to, they're still beautiful. So like, they're not gonna go to waste. But yeah, let me know what ones you liked, if there are any colors that you didn't see that you think would be nice to have, and then I'll take those into consideration. But yeah, I've been really having a good time, and it's been a joy. So yeah, so those are my finished objects for today. I talked, I know, forever. I hope that you didn't mind that. I was just really excited and I really wanted to show you. And I'm hoping to get, I only have 11 more skeins to knit, to dye, so I'm hoping to get a few more before the shop opening. I think I'll probably be able to get another 10 to 20 skeins, so yeah, that's it for finished objects. Let's move along to works in progress. Alright, I've just got a couple to show you today. So I wanted to start with my Quist hat, which is a pattern by Melanie Berg. I'm housing it in this little bag because Luke and I went to a pen shop in kind of like one of the next towns over, and they give you your purchase in these little cloth bags, and it's like the perfect size for a hat or a sock project. So I was like, bonus, because this didn't have a project bag before. It was just sitting on my table. So I've gotten quite a bit done here. Let me just get it all. Ah, don't drop stitches, Joy. Yeah, so here you go. Oh. Hey, chill. Yeah, so anyway, here it is. I've gotten a few repeats in. Here's that St. John's wort kind of mock cable. Got your texture going. The yarn is a Yarn Indulgences 100% merino fingering. This is for Luke, and it's a really fun knit. I think it's going to be a beautiful hat. I love the twisted rib brim. Hopefully I'll have more of that done for next week, but yeah, I had this weird thing where I had dropped one of the slip stitches and didn't realize it for like 4 rows, but my row count wasn't off, so I don't know what happened exactly, but anyway, everything is fine. I didn't even have to tink back. I just stitched it on because I'm lazy. Okay, I'm lazy. I'm a lazy knitter, which is really horrible to admit, but it is also true. I will always try to find the easy way out of a problem. Yeah, so there's my Quist hat. If you want to see the cake, that's my egg cake. I love this yarn. I love Yarn Indulgences. I really do. I would knit with like their yarn all the time if I could. Luckily I still have 1 skein left in my stash that I can use, and I'm of course using Yarn Indulgences in my Sizzle Pop, which I'm not talking about today. So that's really it. Like, there's not really a whole lot to talk about. It's a hat, and it's being knit, and I like it, and it's gonna look good. Opie, stop. What else do I have? Let's talk about my spinning, shall we, for the spin for all. I have done some spinning, as you can see here. It's probably time to wind this off pretty soon. I'm using a Briar Rose 100% BFL. It is like spinning with butter. It is glorious. It's this gorgeous forest green. This is what I have left. So basically what I've been doing with my braid is I'll break off sections about, like a section about this long, and then I'll split it up into four like thinner sections, and then sometimes I'll even split that up again, and then I'll pre-draft it a little bit, and then it goes a lot smoother, and I get a lot more of an even spin. As you can see, like, this is the fiber I'm using right now, so it's pretty thin, and I want it to be pretty thin because I really don't want it to be a super thick yarn. I'd like to keep it around a DK if I can, once it's plied. Although still a part of me is thinking I want to keep it as a single. I don't know. Thoughts? Should I? It's a lot. It's like 6-something ounces, so it would be a large amount of yarn. I could probably get quite a bit out of it. Like, knit out of it, I mean. So yeah, I'm working on that. I use a bottom whorl spindle that I've had for about 20 years. I really do want to try a Turkish spindle though. They look so pretty. The yarn looks so cool when it's wound onto it. Maybe that'll be my reward to myself when I finish this. Unlikely, but yeah. That's how I literally live my life, is I just reward myself for things, and it makes me feel good. It's not bad. I feel like that might be a little bad. And then my last work in progress I have to show you is a new cast on, and I cheated a little bit. It is my Exploration Station by Stephen West for the West Knits Along. But I figure, okay, 1, whips are allowed, and 2, I can't actually enter the thing, so I couldn't resist, okay? I had to cast it on. I had bought the needles for it and everything, so anyway. First I'll show you the yarn I'm using. So, this is looking a little rough already. My color A, which is the dark lines, is Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles in the Ferrum colorway, which is a really deep tonal brown, and I love it. And then my next color is Apiary by Fuse Fiber Studios, and guys, this colorway is everything to me, okay? It's everything to me. So go and buy some Fuse Fiber, because it's gorgeous. It's just so, the speckles, light, stop shading it. The speckles are incredible. I love those gold tones. Forever in love. And then I also am using Cove by Madeline Tosh. These are all singles. I love singles. I love the way this one knits up. It's gorgeous. And then my last colorway is also Fuse Fiber Studio in the Blossom colorway, which is blowing out, but it's like a really soft pink with green speckles in there. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying that. I'm knitting them on 4mm Chow Goose. It's only a 32-inch cable, which is kind of short, but that's all they had, and I don't care. These needles are amazing. I never want to knit a shawl with anything else. Okay, I'm trying to hold on. There's so many ends. So yeah, here it is. I'm on wedge 4 right now, so I've used all the colors. I just feel like the colors are not showing up today. I just love the way that blue pops. That's not the blue, this is the blue. The Cove pops. But this pattern is so much fun, and it knits so quickly, and at this stage in the game, like, you're just like, one more row, and then suddenly you've been knitting for another half an hour. But I can't wait. This, I think, is going to be a pretty quick knit. And I'm not even, like, worried about the brioche section, because I think it's just straight brioche back and forth, so there's no, like, weird increases and decreases to make a pattern, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It's so soft. I can't wait until it's blocked. The construction is really cool. The short rows are done really cool. It's just a really neat pattern. And I like seeing in the Ravelry group how many people are also doing exploration stations. Team Exploration Station! Just kidding, do whatever you want because it's awesome. Yeah, so that is all the knitting I really want to talk about. I have been knitting on my Hermione's Everyday Socks, but I'll show those to you when they're a little closer to being done. And, I forgot I was going to show you. So I'm going to eventually, hopefully soon, knit a shawl. Where'd it go? Hold on. Another Stephen West pattern, which is the speckled dotted rays fade, the version of his thing that is a fade of the dotted rays. So I'm like accumulating the yarn that like my miss dyes or my miss like the ones where I've had to not make knots to eventually knit into that. So I have 4 of my colors already. I think I need 7. I'd like to add the skeleton keys and the jewel beetle in, and possibly the lavender as well. So those will eventually be a shawl. I really want to see how they knit up, but whoop, yarn flying all over the place. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. So my dad has already requested a pair of socks in the jewel beetle colorway, so that's kind of fun. Seriously, my dad is so cute with the whole like knitting thing. But anyway, so yeah, that's that. So I did not buy anything new for knitting, obviously, because I've just accumulated those 3.5 skeins and those minis, which I'm thinking I might put in my crochet blanket. I might cake them up into a magic cake. We'll see. Yeah, so I haven't bought anything. Was there anything else yarn related? I think so. I think that was it. So, okay, then let's get into my last segment. Sorry, my one mini came undone, and I'm just trying to put it back together while I talk. So let's do the last segment of the show, the episode, which is my life, etc. Oh my god, did you see that awkward hand? I was like, whoa, hey now. Yeah, so let's talk about my last 2 weeks. They've been great. I feel really good right now. And I don't want to I don't want to say that like I'm boasting. It's just literally, it's been so long since I felt this good and this creative. I've come to like a point in my life now, right this second, where I'm actually excited to go to bed so that I can wake up in the morning and get to work on doing stuff. It's just been like really nice to feel like that again. I don't even remember the last time I felt like that. Maybe high school, to be honest with you. So yeah, I've just been feeling really good. What was there specifically? The yarn dyeing has been so much fun for me too, because it's like I get to use color, which I love because I'm a painter, and it's yarn, which means I get to use it because it's for knitting. And hold on, I'm gonna awkwardly do this. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know, it's just been really neat. Anyway, aside from that, I did, as some of you may have seen, I went to the Victorian night at Castle Kilbride for Canada Day, and it was so much fun. I got to put on this like beautiful blue Victorian gown and a hoop skirt. I'd never gotten to wear a hoop skirt before. I bought a wig and styled it because obviously I don't have Victorian accurate hair. Oh man, this humidity is killing me. And I actually had a lot of people asking me if it was my real hair, and I was like, really, because it's not like the best wig in the world, but okay. It matched my like eyebrows perfectly though. So anyway, I will insert a picture of us, me and my friend Anna, right here. So yeah, that's a picture of us with the William Lyon Mackenzie King statue, looking like we were talking. It was just really funny. People loved it. And it was like, I don't know, it was like a dream come true. I love Victorian clothing. I've always wanted to have a reason to dress like that. I used to watch Little Women and read Little Women constantly. And I always loved that scene with Meg in her blue dress when she arrives at that ball and they like gussy her up with that blue dress. I always thought was so pretty, and I kind of felt like Meg in that blue dress. What else did I do? I spent time with my family. I went and visited my grandparents, which was really fun. My grandmother told this story about when she worked at, would have been back in the 60s, I think, 60s or 70s. Sorry, my eye. And she was working, doing piecework, it was a company that made suits, in Toronto. And so she did piecework. And at the time, you got paid, I think, per ticket, like per thing that you completed. You didn't get paid necessarily an hourly rate. But like it was like a really it's kind of shady in that like if you did too much work, like you didn't submit all of them at once or anything. Anyway, so she had been making a lot of money, and her manager called her into his office and said, Adwa, you're making a lot of money. You're making more money than a man. And my grandmother goes, well, I do more work than a man. And I was like, yes, girl, that's awesome. She and my grandpa both worked at the same company, doing the same work, actually, which is kind of funny. So anyway, they ended up paying her hourly instead, and she was making more money that way anyway. So it was funny. I like hearing their stories. And we've been taking Opie. We've been going for ice cream. I've been working here. I finished that commission and gave it to the little girl, and it was actually really cool because the little girl didn't know she was getting it. It was a surprise gift for her, and so her mom came to pick it up, but she brought her daughter with her, and her daughter was so excited to get the painting, and that was really cool just to see. I've sold work before, but it's usually to like, family or it's someone online, and I'd never met them before. So it was just really cool to have that experience. It was a lot of fun. Today I'm going out with my friend for coffee and to do Camp NaNoWriMo things. Camp NaNoWriMo has been a thing. It's funny because I'm falling into the exact same pattern that I did the last time I did Camp NaNoWriMo, which is that I started writing my book. It was going pretty well, and then I fell behind. I was starting to feel, you get that self-doubt, and then you feel bummed about it, and then you fall behind a day, and then you fall behind 2 days, and then suddenly you're thousands of words behind, and it feels overwhelming, which usually wouldn't be a problem for me. I type really fast, but I'm not typing, I'm handwriting. So when you fall behind when you're handwriting, it can get very overwhelming very quickly, and I'm obviously not going to damage my hand to win NaNoWriMo. So what I've decided to do is I've set that book aside just briefly. I'm going to continue it probably towards the end of the summer. It's a story I definitely want to tell, and I love handwriting it, so I don't want to just start typing it. I love the notebook. I love the fountain pens I'm using. So I decided to start editing another project for Nano instead. So I'm doing a second draft of the Medusius novel, which a few of you said you really liked the idea of, and it's a book that I do really love, and the first draft is actually in pretty decent condition for a first draft for me. My first drafts are usually pretty garbage, which is fine. It's normal. But that's what editing is for. So I'm working on that instead. So I've just switched my project over, and I've changed my goal to 40K instead of 30, just because I can, when you're typing it up and editing it as you go, I find that I just get a lot of words done. I got like almost 5,000 words done yesterday. So yeah, and I started doing what I did with my last book, with the one that I finished, where I read Luke chapters as I finish them, just to get his feedback before I get too far ahead. But yeah, so that's okay. It's okay. It's pretty normal for me. That's how I finished Where the Skeleton Sleeps. It was last Camp Nano. I started writing another book, and then decided I was like, no, I can't get that story out of my head. I need to get it done before I can really focus on something else. So it's all good. It's all good. And I feel better doing that with Camp. Like with Camp NaNoWriMo, you can edit if you would like. Instead, it doesn't matter. Whereas with November, I want to be drafting a book, and I want to draft something completely new this November. Yeah, if you're doing Camp NaNoWriMo, let me know how you're doing in the comments, or send me a message on Ravelry or Instagram, because I'd love to hear. But I think that's it. feel like I'm missing something. Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave it there. I think that I've covered everything that's important, and yes, so if you would like to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on Ravelry as dabblejoy, and you can find me on Instagram as Rhineland Story, and I haven't really posted, I've only posted one thing, but if you'd like to start following the Cabinet of Curios Instagram, that is cabinet_of.curios on Instagram, and I will be starting to post things more often now that I've started showing you the yarn. So go ahead and follow us there if you like. It's been great talking to you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and a great weekend. I hope you do things that you love and spend time with people that you love, and yeah. Happy knitting, happy living,